A'udzubillahi syaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Magandang hapon po sa kanilang lahat. Ako po si Attorney Israelito Torion, si Attorney Martin Belgra on my left side, si Attorney Luna Acosta who represents the other petitioners, no? And then on my far right is si Boss Dada, who is one of the petitioners here. And then si Coach Oli po is likewise one of the petitioners here. We're all 29 petitioners. As what I have said a while ago, there were other would-be petitioners from Cebu, Dumaguete, from Manila, but we advised them that they will instead file a petition for intervention on the ground that the coordination in the signing of the verification is very difficult, no? Because in the verification process, it is necessary that you should have studied the complaint, assessed the evidences, and you must have personal knowledge of the facts that are cited in the, in the petition, or at the very least, you are personally aware of the attachments or evidences there too, no? Based on authentic records. No? To answer that, no? Actually, this is not a last-ditch legal gymnastics, no, that we interposed by filing this petition. Instead, this is a legitimate attempt on the part of the people in order to stop a constitutionally void as well as defective, procedurally defective and jurisdictionally deficient impeachment complaint that was filed against VP Sara Duterte. No? We would like to emphasize that this is our individual move, collective efforts on the part of us, individual petitioners, and VP Sara has nothing to do with this. And this is our move because we feel that the impeachment complaint really is defective based on three grounds, three principal grounds. Number one, there were three impeachment complaints that were filed on December 2, December 4, as well as December 19 by different individuals. Well, you can say that they are mostly on the left, but the fact remains that there were three, impeachment complaints on December 2, 4, and 19. December 4 complaint was the second complaint, and the endorsement, it was filed by Attorney Nery Colmenares et al. And endorsed by Representative Franz Castro and two others. And why do I have to emphasize this? Because they're the ones now belittling our moves. And why is this important? This is important because if you base it under Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 2, okay, you will realize that it is mandatory under the 1987 Constitution for the House of Representatives to act right away on any impeachment complaints and accordingly subject it to the order of business within 10 session days and refer it to the proper committee within 3 session days thereafter. Now, if you will likewise read Rule 2 of the, House of Representatives on impeachment, it is likewise clearly stated therein that upon receipt of the impeachment complaint, it should be referred to the Speaker by the Secretary General, and the Speaker is mandated by their own rules to have it set in the order of business within 10 session days from receipt, and the Speaker is mandated by their own rules to refer it to the Committee on Justice within 3 days. And what did they do? They never acted on the 3 complaints. And these were filed on December 2, 4, and 9. Never acted. They waited until February 5. No? On the last day of the third House session, and what did they do? They fast-tracked. No? We can even characterize it, to borrow the words of Justice Corona, blitzkrieg fashion, the filing of the 4th impeachment complaint, and in just 3 hours, more or less, 215 congressmen allegedly read and verified the thick impeachment complaint that was the fourth one that was already filed. Which brings me to another ground, therefore. It's not a matter of discretion. It should have been done. But they never did that. They dilly-dallied and they waited for the fourth complaint at the last hour before they entertained, in a flash, in a blitzkrieg fashion, this fourth complaint. So if you will base it on Francisco versus House of Representatives, Gutierrez versus House of Representatives, the fourth complaint would have no legal basis anymore. Okay? Second point, the verification requirement. If you will read Article 11 of Section 3 of the 1987 Constitution, if they base it on Section 5, that if they have the one-third vote of the House of Representatives, please read it in the 1987 Constitution, that in case the verified complaint, so meaning, before you talk about trial in the Senate forthwith, you must see to it that there was proper verification, because the law, Constitution requires in case of verified complaint. So we must determine, therefore, as to whether or not there was proper verification that was conducted in vis-a-vis the impeachment complaint as submitted and filed in the Senate. If you will look, this can already been revealed now, if you will look at the impeachment complaint as filed in the Senate, there was even no proper verification. Who signed it? It was only the Secretary General who subscribed it, who stated among others that this was subscribed before him. Is that the proper verification? And besides, even a mathematical computation, 215 congressmen who did not have any idea at all as to what was the subject matter of the caucus as of 10:15, 10:30, 10:45 a.m. And then by 3:15 in the afternoon, they already accordingly added it as additional reference to business. Okay. So they only have 3 hours within which to look at the complaint, verify all the attachments to the complaint. Even if you will, we counted it, they would only have about 1 minute and 2 seconds, no, to finish it all if we believe them. Now, can you understand anything in 1 minute and 2 seconds? Ang kapal-kapal ng impeachment complaint. Why? Because an impeachment complaint is not a rote process. It is a process which is sacrosanct. Why? Because this is not merely a numbers game. And as a matter of fact, if you will base it in Gutierrez versus House of Representatives, the Supreme Court was in relation with Francisco versus House of Representatives. The Supreme Court was emphatic in saying that this is a sacrosanct process, that the impeachment process should not be only considered as a numbers game to be used by Congress in order to crucify high public officials. No? And then third, there was violation of due process. Why violation of due process? The Vice President was denied prior notice and hearing prior to the filing of the fourth complaint. Okay? She was never informed beforehand that this new complaint is going to be filed against him. It is basic in our 1987 Constitution that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. How much more in an impeachment complaint which would seek a high government official elected by 32,208,417 votes. This is 32 million including our votes, which are going to be discarded, which are going to be
marginalized or erased simply because of the unilateral actions of 200 individuals who think that they are above the law. So this is the essence of our petition, and we seek that the Supreme Court would grant us a temporary restraining order, restraining the Senate from acting on the impeachment complaint, and thereafter a preliminary injunction on the ground that doing so would cause grave and irreparable injury upon the people and upon our votes and upon our right as a citizen of this republic, knowing, and as a taxpayer, knowing that as taxpayer, if this impeachment complaint will not be stopped, they would spend millions again just to divert our attention in crucifying the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines without just cause. So that, in essence, is our complaint.
Isang grupo ng abogado mula Mindanao ang formal na naghain ng petition for certiorari and prohibition sa Korte Suprema upang ipatigil ang impeachment complaint laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Ito ay pinangunahan nila Attorney Israelito Torion, Attorney Martin Delgra, Attorney James Reserva at Attorney Hilary Olga Reserva. Ayon sa isang Facebook page na Am Pilipino, ang balita ngayon, kasama daw sa mga pumirma sa petisyon ang ilang konsehal ng Davao City, pati na rin ang political blogger na sina Darwin Salcedo, Lord Byron Cristobal at Lord Oliver Raymond Cristobal, na matagal nang kilalang taga-suporta ng pamilyang Duterte. Sa mga oras ngayon, wala pang opisyal na tugon ang Korte Suprema sa naturang petisyon, ngunit inaasahang magiging mainit ang labanan sa pagitan ng mga taga-suporta at kritiko ng Vice Presidente sa darating na mga araw. Kayo mga kababayan, ano yung masasabi ninyo dito sa nangyaring pagpapasa ng petisyon laban sa mga kritiko ni Vice President Sara Duterte? Kung kayo po ay may mga komento at opinion, i-comment nyo lang yan sa baba at ating pag-usapan. At patuloy po nating subaybayan yung iba pang mga maiinit na balita sa mga susunod na araw. At tayo po ay may karapatang makialam, makinig, magsalita kung ano ang ating opinion upang ito ay ating talakayin sa ating comment section. At sa mga kababayan naman po natin na gustong mapanood ang kabuoang presko nila Attorney Torion at iba pa niyang mga kasamang abogado, ay maaari po kayong magtungo sa Facebook page ng SMNI News dahil doon po natin mapapanood ang kabuoang preskon ng mga abogadong nagpetisyon niya ngayong araw na to sa Korte Suprema para po harangin po yung impeachment complaint laban po kay Vice President Duterte. I-follow na din po natin ang kanilang Facebook page. Maraming salamat po at God bless.